Good evening. The time is 7:53. We now begin the Finance Committee meeting. And we begin with Agenda Item 2.1, Trusted Capital Group TCG Investment Presentation.
Okay, so we have our CFO here tonight, Monica Mata. She will be handling most of the Finance Committee agenda. I know today we do have a presentation from TCG, so Ms. Mata?
Good evening, Mr. Moreno, Board President, and Board Trustees, and Mrs. Rion. We
You
have.
might want to,
Monica, can you lower the mic a little bit?
Yes.
There you go.
There.
Thank you.
Maybe speak a little bit louder, please.
There you go.
Okay, with us tonight, we have Ryan Canales of TCG Advisors. He will be doing a presentation on the investment for San Benito CISD. And in your packets, you should have a presentation or follow on your board docs. Okay, Mr. Canales.
Good evening.
Mr. Canales, thank you for being patient with us. I saw you sitting back there since forever, so thank you.
Absolutely. Just happy to be here. I got taken down the wrong directions on my GPS, which I didn't notice until I was in the middle of a field somewhere else. So fun times. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and give a brief overview. Feel free to ask any questions that you might have. I just want to make sure that this is interactive. I don't want to just be sitting up here, stating a bunch of information. Do we have the presentation ready? Hopefully we do. Do you all have it in front of you and you're, okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with just a brief overview of Hub Retirement and Private Wealth. TCG, Trusted Capital Group, was acquired July of last year by Hub International. Hub International is the fourth largest risk management financial services company in the world. We maintained our headquarters in Austin. We maintained our ability to continue doing what we do best. And so we just acquired, or we were acquired, and we have some additional resources to stand behind us. So just a quick overview on that. I'm on slide 3. So roughly $105 billion in assets under management, 6,100 retirement plans. We have 450 locations in North America, 13,000 employees. What that means to you is just additional resources that we can bring to the table. Of course, we still, slide 4, still provide our third-party administrator services. We still act as an investment advisor, and we act as a specialized consultant as needed. Our 5 pillars for investment advisory. Number 1, portfolio design. We provide investment analysis based on your investment objectives while keeping current market conditions in mind. Most specifically, under the Public Finance Investment Act, all the investments that we provide are conservative, liquid, and focused on yield. We act as an extension of your finance office. We provide additional reporting. We don't act as a broker. We don't sell anything. We act as a consultant. We sit on the same side of the table as you. We're here to help and provide ourselves as an extension. We have an extensive dealer network, so oftentimes we are brought opportunities that might not necessarily be brought to you, and we go ahead and work with you to bring that to you. We act as a fiduciary, so everything that we do, we are on the hook for. We are making sure that we act in the best regards for you and your district at all times. And then, of course, investment advisory. Develop and properly maintain your investment policy statement with formal, objective, consistent process to protect the organization. So, number 5, fiduciary commitment. Just a little bit more information on our fiduciary, our fiduciary commitment. We are not a broker-dealer. We are registered investment advisors. As such, we hold ourselves out as a fiduciary, and we can hold your interests in our best regards. Next slide. Market overview. This is just some basic information that you might want to be aware of. So as of the beginning of Q2, we saw interest rates rise. And so that's kind of a good news, bad news scenario. Good news in the fact that any investments that the district is making are going to see higher yields, higher rates of return. Bad news, if you issue any new debt in form of bonds, you're going to be paying higher interest rates out for those bonds. So current short-term rates, 6-month Treasury sitting at about 2.97, 6-month commercial paper a little bit over 3%, 3.07. The 1-year Treasury, 3.02, 2-year Treasury, 3.06, 2-year agency, 3.06, 2-year municipals, 3.15, 3-year Treasury, 3.01, 3-year agency, 3.1, 3-year munis at 3.25, and of course the investment pools are currently paying about 1.5 to 1.7%. Our market overview, real quickly, the bond market continues to be volatile and highly sensitive to inflation data. Federal Reserve has raised the federal fund rates by 75 basis points in June. There are currently about 1.75 to 2.25% of additional rate hikes that are currently priced in. These additional rate hikes, if implemented, will take the federal fund rate to about 3.5 to 4% by the end of 2022. So, of course, this represents a vast difference from interest rates how they've been for the last 20 years, especially last year being close to zero. Any questions on that? No? Okay. Go to the next slide. So this is the rate curve, just showing the interest rates, of course, rising earlier in the year and how they affected July of 2022. They've kind of tailed off, but they're starting to go up. Next slide. I don't know if there's a way to expand that so we can see that a little bit better, or if you guys can see that on your screens, okay? Okay, if you can see that on your screens, okay. This is just a breakdown of the overall assets of the district and where they sit. So the first tranche is with First Community Bank. At the end of at the end of June of 2022, sitting at about 9.5 million in the accounts there. Or wait, I'm sorry, 9,500. Sorry about that. We all would, right? TCG, the amount that we actually manage and invest is held at Ameritrade, and at the end of June had equaled 20 million, a little bit over $20 million, right? Up from last year at about $19 million. First Public is sitting at about 51, almost $52 million, up from about $35 million in July of last year. There were some contributions to that, of course. It's not all interest rates. And then, of course, the Texas class pool is sitting at about 1.4. It was about 1.26 in July of last year. So we're holding about, I think that's about 27% is what we're holding in investments for you at Ameritrade. So just wanted to go into that a little bit in more detail, and that's the next slide. So in the general fund, received about $8,129 in interest received. Accrued interest was $8,734. Total fees, $3,755. Net earned income, about $13,108. If you look at the bond fund, the amount that we were managing there, interest received was about $53,834. Accrued interest, $25,626. Less total fees, $11,245. Net income earned was $68,215. You look at that, how that played out versus the benchmarks. It did actually very, very well. Do keep in mind that the benchmarks were sitting at about 10 basis points, which is where the pools were last year. So they haven't had a chance to really catch up as of yet, but we did outperformed them quite significantly. So any questions on that? No, okay. This is our investment outlook and strategy that's been put together by our trade desk. So the base continues to be that inflation will wane over the course of the year as Fed rate hikes reduce demand and rein in credit due to higher cost of money. However, the structural nature of inflation and the geopolitical uncertainty in Ukraine, Russia, China, and Taiwan, as well as the energy and security sectors, make this a challenging projection. Given this, we will be maintaining a preference to keep new investments relatively short at 6 months to 2-year average maturities. We will continue to work with your business staff to invest according to your liquidity needs. So just basically, in general, we're not looking at making any long-term investments far beyond 2 years, just so that we can be nimble in order to take advantage of whatever's coming down the pipeline. Yep. Any questions on that? No. Okay. Of course, here's my contact information. Many of you have already met. Some of you who I haven't met, please, feel free to contact me with any questions that you might have at any point in time. I want to let you know and reiterate, we are an extension of your business staff. We want to have communication on the regular. We want to be able to assist in any way possible. So please let us know how we can do that.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you. Okay, I'm coming. Okay, the next, that's just a presentation, so we don't need to make it an agenda item. We move on to 2.2, review and discussion of proposals on meals and catering services district-wide, RFP 1221 MSCD.
Good evening, Mr. Moreno, Board of Trustees, and Mr. Vion. Mr. Eddie Cavazos, the Purchasing Director, is here to assist me with this.
Good evening, President Moreno, members of the board, Ms. Alveon. We're asking for approval of the meals and catering for the vendors that submitted their bid for this coming year. This will be our last opening for the rolling bid of this year. So these are the only 3 vendors that submitted one among a comprehensive list that we already have. And it's been used on an as-needed basis.
Are there any questions, comments? Okay, agenda item 2.3, review and discussion of proposal for general merchandise and services, RFP 1221 GMS.
Yes, ma'am. The administration is requesting approval of the vendors that submitted their proposal for this. This is the last rolling bid again that we were going to have for these 3, and we're just requesting approval.
No questions? Agenda item. Moving on to 2.4, review and discussion of proposals for professional consultant services district-wide, RFP 1221 PCS.
Yes, ma'am. This is the 3rd one, so this is the final one. Requesting for those
You
consultants.
sure this is the final one?
Yes, sir. I'm positive. After this, I'm going. So we're just requesting for those who submitted their proposals.
Questions, comments? No, okay. Okay, so 3.1, committee concerns. I do have a question for you. If there's anybody that wants to become a vendor, can they still submit proposals, or was that the cutoff already?
The cutoff is already gone. I don't have another bid opening right now yet, but they can still become vendors. The only thing that they're going to have to do is the campuses are going to have to get 3 quotes if they're not an approved vendor from the board. They can still become vendors. And as a matter of fact, I encourage new businesses that come into San Benito.
Especially local.
If you look at the general merchandise, almost 50%, 60% are from San Benito.
Yes, and I was happy to see that.
Yeah.
Harlingen, San Benito areas,
Yeah,
that's
Los
great.
Fresnos, yeah.
Think I
So they can
saw
still
one.
become vendors, and I have had some people contact me, and I encourage them to come to my office. Yeah, so, yeah, that's not a problem.
Thank you, sir. It's important to try to work.
Thank you.
2.4 becomes an agenda item? Okay, thank you. And just the last comment, Ms. Riona gave you some information there. In looking at the fees in the investments, I saw one was 23% fees and the other one was 15%. So just wanted to bring that to your attention in case that's something that you feel that the district needs to look into as far as the fees and see if that's competitive or not for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Meeting is adjourned. The time is 8:09. Thank you.